Hello, students, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something really interesting, a technology that completely changed the world. I'm talking about the invention of printing. Now, it might seem like a simple thing to us today, but believe me, this one invention was as revolutionary back then as the internet has been for us. It changed how people learned, how they shared ideas, and even how they saw the world around them. So, let's get started.
Just take a moment and really think about that. A world with no printed words at all. No textbooks for school, no storybooks, not even a newspaper to tell you what's happening outside your town. You see, for most of human history, information wasn't easy to get, and it certainly wasn't available to everyone. That was the reality.
So before printing presses, every single book was basically a work of art. Look at this picture of a workshop from the 16th century. Skilled writers, who are called scribes, had to copy every single word by hand. Can you imagine? To create just one book could take months, or sometimes even years. This, of course, made them incredibly expensive and very rare. They were a luxury that only the richest people could afford.
So, here's our plan for today's discussion. First, we'll look at what the world was like before print. Then, we will dive into the Great Print Revolution itself. After that, we'll explore how newspapers came to be and how pictures changed everything. And finally, we will summarize it all and see what's coming up next.
All right, let's start with our first section. To really understand just how big a deal printing was, we first have to understand the world without it. As we just saw, making books by hand was a huge challenge. This comparison makes it so clear, doesn't it? On one hand, you have the handwritten manuscripts. They were slow to make, very expensive, and also quite fragile, so not many copies existed. But then, look at the other side, printed books. They were fast to produce, much cheaper, they were more durable, and you could make thousands of copies for everyone. This was a true revolution.
So, the big question is, how did this massive change happen? Well, the answer, in one word, is technology. It was all about the shift from slow, manual hand power to the fast, efficient power of machines.
This timeline shows us the key steps. It all started in the 1430s with Johann Gutenberg's press. But the real speed up, that happened in the 19th century. First, the steam-powered press was invented, which was a huge leap. Then, the offset press made it possible to print in multiple colors. And by the early 20th century, electric presses made the whole process faster than anyone could have ever imagined. And to give you an idea of this new speed, Richard M. Hoe's steam-powered press could print 8,000 sheets in a single hour. Just think about that, 8,000 sheets in 1 hour. Compare that to the scribe who took months to finish just one book. The scale of this change is just incredible. So what was the result of all this? Well, it's pretty straightforward. With printing becoming so fast and cheap, books were suddenly everywhere. And for the very first time in history, ordinary people, not just the wealthy, could afford to buy them. This created something entirely new in society, a reading public. Now, with so many people reading, they started wanting more information. And this huge appetite for news led directly to the birth of something we all know very well today, the newspaper. You see, newspapers were a real game changer. Suddenly, news about wars or trade could travel from the big cities out to the smallest villages. People could read about and discuss important issues. This helped create a feeling of connection, a sense that people in different parts of a country were all part of the same community. And of course, newspapers became a powerful way to spread new ideas about science, logic, and how governments should work. People living at that time really understood how important this was. This quote from an 18th century writer, Louis Sébastien Mercier, shows just how much hope they had. He called the printing press the most powerful engine of progress. He believed it would educate everyone and challenge the power of unfair rulers. But the print revolution wasn't just about words. It also created a powerful new world of images that everyone could see. You have to understand, for the first time ever, images could be copied perfectly and produced in huge numbers. This meant that pictures were no longer stuck in art galleries or the palaces of the rich. They were everywhere. This created a new visual culture that everyone, rich or poor, could be a part of. And one of the most common uses for this was advertising. Just look at this picture from a railway station in England. Printed ads were plastered all over the walls. They were used to sell all sorts of things, from soap to medicines. This was the beginning of our modern consumer culture. It shaped what people wanted to buy.
Pictures were also used to make very powerful political statements. This cartoon, for example, is from just before the French Revolution. It shows the common people struggling under the weight of the rich and powerful. And the most powerful thing about a cartoon like this is that even people who couldn't read could understand the message instantly. This form of art is called a caricature. It's when an artist exaggerates a person's features to make a point, often in a funny or critical way. It was a very effective tool for shaping public opinion because a single picture could communicate a very complex idea in just a few seconds.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground today. So let's take a moment to summarize the key points of our discussion, just to make sure we've got everything. Okay, so let's recap the whole process in 4 simple steps. Step 1, new technology like the steam press made printing fast and cheap. Step 2, because of this, more people could buy books and newspapers, which created a whole new reading public. Step 3, this easy spread of information led to major changes in society and politics. And finally, step 4, printed visuals like ads and cartoons created a brand new language for communicating with lots and lots of people. So, the print revolution completely transformed Europe. But what about in our own country, India? Well, these powerful changes also came to India, bringing with them new debates, new ideas, and new forms of expression. And we will explore that fascinating story in our next discussion. Thank you for joining me today.